Welcome to part 2 of the ZX12R fork replacement thing. First step is to make sure you have the correct fork, and then lube it up. Allow for easier insertion. Easier insertion. Oh baby. And when inserting the fork into the triple tree, you might want to get yourself a lever or a screwdriver prior to part slightly, because it's quite a tight fit, and you want to push it in until just the tip is sticking out of the top. That's right, just the tip. Now take your 6mm Allen key and tighten the M8 bolt in the top part of the triple tree. This bolt here, tighten it. Tighten it. Good job. And then, using a 12mm socket, tighten the two bolts on the lower half of the triple tree. Don't go too tight. You don't want to knock your bike off its stand if your bike is stood upon two bike tires, or car tires, or tires. Now, take a large socket, whichever one fits on top of here, and use your ratchet handle and do it up. You can use a torque handle if you want. Torque settings are available online, but I'm an engineer, and we don't need such things. That's right, nice and tight. Depending on how you have lifted your bike, you might want to lift it again in order to get the wheel in. As I have mine supported on two car tires, it is impossible to get the wheel back in unless I elevate it slightly. However, that does make the bike rather precarious. So give it a wiggle just to make sure. Pull up your trousers. Making sure your wheel is facing the correct way. Look at the arrow on the tire. It tells you which way the wheel rotates. Quite useful. Very useful. And take your spindle with your wheel spacers. Make sure that is facing the correct way also. Give it a clean off with your girlfriend if you wish. Put the wheel spacers in the wheel. Then get your tiny Asian girlfriend, they're very good, to get you a hammer or a mallet. Use the soft side for best results. Give it a tap. A few taps. Quite a few taps. Knock the spindle through, ensuring that the wheel spacers are aligned correctly. And then have a do-si-do. Take the end of the spindle and make sure you put the hexagon end facing outward. Screw it onto the end, the threaded end of the spindle. Take your 14mm Allen key and do it up. Keep doing it up. As you turn the end of the spindle, it will pull the rest of the spindle through the wheel. Keep going until it's bottomed out. This may take some time. Don't worry, this is perfectly natural. Nip it up gently. You You don't want to go knocking your bicycle over. They're expensive. Good job. Now explain some random nonsense while your girlfriend gets bored. But allow her to get bored. You might need to feed her at some point. You might need to water her. Action. Do up these 2 bolts. They hold the one end of the spindle and prevent it from turning later on. Then reattach your brake calipers. Don't do them up too tight. Wait until later. Patience is a virtue. Remove your tires, or whatever you're using. We're going to have a barbecue later. These will be perfect. Now that your wheel is in place and secured, you can take it down from its lift and proceed to tighten all the bolts. Yes, do these ones up finally. There are torque settings for these also. You may need them, you may not. Get your beautiful assistant to tighten the other bolts holding on the calipers. Saves time and money. Give the spindle one last tighten, just to ensure it will not move. There, that's the sweet spot. Now tighten the bolts on the other fork leg. These bolts prevent the spindle from moving and becoming undone. You don't want to lose your wheel, do you? Now that all the bolts are done up and tightened and have been checked by a qualified engineer, you are ready to put the fairing back on.
Oh yes. This is your boy.
Smoking, it's like living in a shisha lounge. Right, I hope you enjoyed that second part of the tutorial and you've got your bike back together in one piece. As I said before, if you need to know how to disassemble your ZX12R, then watch that video in reverse. Stay tuned for more tutorials and other dumb shit motorbike related. Like and subscribe if you really want to. It's fucking smoky in here, it's like living in a shisha lounge. Open the window.